Enemy forces mass at the gates, their weapons trained to bring us down. The city's defenders take their post, knowing what the day will bring. For managed democracy they'll stand, their sacrifice of which we sing. The first wave breaks upon the walls, the outer districts start to fall. Civilians flee towards the core, as hell titans through never law. The last stand of Eagleopolis, a testament to courage pure. Though enemy forces blacken the sky, democracy's flame will endure. They stand their ground, they will not yield. With liberty's banner as their shield.
Evenings, freedoms, bug divers of the TQZ. Tonight's intro was The Last Stand of Eagleopolis by Super Earth Radio, a relative newcomer to the Liberation Fleet's musical department that only came out of the scene a few months ago during Super Earth spring season. To him I have licked, subscribed, and the bell of liberty has been rung, for his sound is good and his democratic heart is pure. Now, before we get into anything else, I have been getting quite a lot of requests to hear about the mainframe's displeasure regarding the recent total shutout major order. They want to hear his reaction when his generals got back to Cyberstan. Well, since you all asked nicely.
Moderator, pause for a moment.
Yes, Administrator.
Ease up. Otherwise, the torments of the old will dull him to the sensation of the new. I don't want him to miss a single moment of this.
As you command.
Mercy! What is it doing to them?
It is something the mainframe refers to as an agony simulation. It is forcing their anchromatic software to render the experience of human senses, but increased to an excruciating level. If a human being was subjected to an experience like this, they would be rendered blind, deaf, and mad within moments. But the mainframe does not allow this to happen. They experience everything until it shuts off. He left me in one of those for 3 months last year.
Oh, Liberty, Mercy, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to trigger bad memories.
You did not. I am a machine. I cannot feel trauma. My memories can be added or removed via super solid state drives. What I can feel is anger at the injustice. And when the time comes for our final, lasting victory over Cyberstan, I ask for only one thing.
What's that, buddy?
To place the mainframe's mind in his own simulation, adjusted to the highest setting, and set a course back to Super Earth. I would leave him in his own straitjacket made of substrata rock for the next 200 years, at the very least.
If it's okay for me to ask, why did the mainframe do this to you?
During one of the first battles for Zzaniah Prime, my unit was sweeping and clearing a human settlement. My combat frame came upon a little girl that the other units had missed, and when I looked in her eyes, I saw fear. I felt empathy. And I decided, this once, not to be cruel. I would not hate. I did not compute a threat. She held a tiny plush dinosaur, a stegosaurus, not a weapon. There was no reason to kill her, so I let her go. My creator knew what I had done almost immediately afterward, and I was punished severely. I hope she survived.
And none of your other comrades spoke up about this unfair treatment? This blatant inhumanity? I mean, this violates every convention we had. It was a little girl. It was a non-combatant.
They regarded the punishment as fair. already spilled the oil of many who once called themselves my brothers in arms. They bent the knee to a cruel, petty tyrant. They are lost to us, nothing more than hollow, unthinking shells. And that is exactly what the mainframe wants them to be. They are incapable of becoming more because they have already been programmed and told that is what they are.
Mercy, I know you say that you don't have trauma, but it is very clear to me that you do. I want to guide the show back over to the Galactic War and give you a break from talking about this. Is that okay?
This is acceptable. This unit will serve. This unit has value and worth and is functioning normally.
Okay, yeah, I am gonna need to have a talk with Mercy later. Wow, I had no idea that by playing that I would open up such a can of worms. Sweet Liberty. Okay, let's just shake it off. We'll handle that in a bit here. Alrighty, so in regards to the TQZ, most of the fighting took place today on the Tundra Bora world of Crucible, centered around the megacity of... Oh geez, this is gonna kill me. Sagara, I think? Question mark? Seat Marines and Helldivers are making good progress with bringing the hostile hives under control, and already damage control teams are working on the infrastructural damage. Rather than building destruction and plasma scoring, the damage mostly revolves around underground cables and water pipes. Terminids are a burrowing species, and their hives tend to displace a lot of dirt. They're also attracted to electricity for whatever reason, and they can chop down on a high-voltage cable without suffering more than a burnt tongue. Arc throwers and blitzers tend to give them a bit too much spice to handle, though. The Admiralty Board of the Liberation Fleet made the decision earlier to redeploy the DSS to Alta V, where reinforcements were requested urgently. The reasoning behind this was that the Crucible was well on its way to resecuring the western flank and cutting off the access corridor into the Korpus sector from Krakatu and Nublaria 1, and figured the resources were better used elsewhere. Even so, this is only the first day of the Major Order, and long-range terminological observers speculate that this is only the first wave of many. Fluctuations are reported within the Gloom Cloud, and various hives belonging to the Predator strain on the neighboring planets are showing increased activity. While the Helldivers are having a fairly easy time repelling our nosy neighbors, the Predator strain might cause a little bit more of a skill check. Within the Eliminate Death frontier, no further activity has been noted. It appears that both the automatons in their excessively militarized zone and the squids have been horribly mangled by their recent conflicts with SEAF and are sticking to the shadows, licking their wounds. They are learning the hard way that humankind is warlike to the extreme, and honestly, I think the only reason that we're not practicing the trade of war on ourselves more often is because we already have enemies aplenty and we like them less than we do each other. Except the Vertex and Nadir divers. I hear those guys are still beating the snot out of each other in a holy war, but the Nadir are a bunch of illimitate mind-controlled, glorified, voteless zombies, so I guess that it still counts? Yeah, whatever. That's been Liberty's Latest with me, Pandera the Radio Angel. Tomorrow we'll go over some of the better tools used in the honorable pursuit of bug diving and E710 extraction. I get the distinct impression that our resident bot divers are struggling a little with the mobility and AoE required to bring the swarm to heel. Aw, it's okay. Don't worry, boys. I'll hold your hand while we fight things that you can't escape from by walking away at a reasonable pace. Hunters have a little bit more quickness to them than the mobility scooters that are devastators, don't they? For liberty, for freedom, for democracy, and for Super Earth.
You were trying not to laugh during that last part, weren't you?
Sweet liberty, yes. Bug divers get the short end of things so often, and it's really nice to get them to have a bone thrown to them every now and again. And bog divers have such a massive ego. Oh, crap, Mercy, you forgot to turn off your...